Alright. Howdy, howdy. This is Origa. I'm going to give you guys a bit of a review on Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. So, this game is made by Bethesda, so it's not quite like the classic Wolfensteins.
Ready to get going, Blazkowicz?
I don't know if you're familiar with the Wolfenstein games as of late, but this one, even though it's technically a linear storyline, it does feel like you're exploring. If you're a fan of Fallout, you might like the feel of being in a vault here. It looks very similar, like all of the architecture here is extremely similar to being in a vault, but we are in a submarine. I'm going to give you guys the kind of short version first, and then if you want to actually see any sort of spoilers or gameplay or anything like that, I will put some of that and some explanation into it. Long story short, the gameplay on this is very much like more classic shooters, not like old school 2D, 3D type games, but more recent classic style shooters. Kind of like if you ever played Quake 2 or something like that, it feels a lot closer to that. So that's the kind of feel you'll get when you're actually using your weapons. But as far as the actual like missions and everything, you have a set objective, but it is very easy to feel almost lost. There's so much stuff to explore in a lot of these locations, and then there's some that they're really just kind of straightforward, like they couldn't put you any more on a linear path in a couple of places, but those are pretty few and far between so far. I have completed the main part of the storyline here, but and sorry if you can hear Swift, he apparently wants attention right now. But yeah, I completed the main part of the storyline. Now I'm just kind of working on a checklist of taking out officers, essentially. And I'll give you a full kind of review as I go here. This is going to be the portion where spoilers are going to start in about 3-ish minutes, maybe less. You won't see spoilers in what I'm about to do. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to pick kind of a random mission here. We'll do that. This is one of the ones to go kill an officer. It's kind of like a side quest, so you won't really get spoilers here. It's mostly just combat. The handling for the weapons and whatnot feels a little jerky. It's not bad. I mean, it
Let me
does
tell you
take
about
some.
this Uber commander. His real name is Daniel Eckstein, but everyone knows him as the Butcher of Boston. A real mass murderer. Sadistic son of a bitch. Find his ass and deliver some justice for the people of Boston. Grace out.
Okay, so, anyways, yeah, the scenery looks fantastic. I'm playing this on one of the classic PS4s. It's not a PS4 Pro. I think this is the original release of the PS4s. You'll notice there's quite a few different weapons. One thing I think that this game did right, as far as first-person shooter goes, is you see that arrow? I can switch between my right and my left hand, and I can actually equip a different weapon in either hand as I see fit. So that's even your heavy weapon. You can't dual wield this particular heavy weapon in my left hand, but you can choose which hand you want to hold it in. It's not just set to a specific one. I am going to be wielding these at first because they are silenced. You'll notice I can't look down my sights when I do this, whereas if I go and equip my hand in the left hand, I can operate this just like pretty much any first-person shooter where you can look down the sights. This one has a lot of the stealth element, like in Far Cry and Metal Gear Solid, things like that. And there's some pretty brutal executions you can do. Most of the executions from behind seem to be about the same. There's really not a whole lot of variables as far as those go. So you won't really notice a whole lot of difference depending on how you execute somebody. It's all pretty much the same thing. Usually he'll stab him in the leg, and either stab them in the face if they flip, or hit him in the kidney and then hit him in the head or something. Certain materials, like the boxes here, the wooden boxes you can break, metal ones you cannot. you have to be kind of very aware of your surroundings in most of these areas. This one isn't very bad, actually. This one's actually super simple, so I'm glad I chose it. Sometimes you have to have real quick reflexes like that, or the guys will sound the alarm, call reinforcements, etc. Now, if you're in the vicinity of an officer, one who can actually continuously call reinforcements until they die, you will see a signal appear. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. I thought you were dead. Oops. My bad. So let's get a little more into the combat here. I'll show you a few of the weapons, and I think it's been a couple of minutes here, so this is pretty much where the spoilers are going to start, beyond just regular gunfire. So, of course, this one is my silenced weapon. You get perks for each of your weapons. You get like weapon upgrade kits, and you see the red portions of these are things that I've upgraded. Each weapon has 3 upgrades for the regular weapons. The heavy weapons, as far as I can tell, you don't upgrade. But yeah, you turn your pistol into a magnum, extended mags, and you get suppressors. Each thing has slightly different upgrades, like the marksman scope and armor piercing, as opposed to just magnum and whatnot. This makes your bullets slower. It heats them up so they do way more damage. So, and it's also the only weapon I'm aware of that you can put a silencer on. Aside from, I think, the pistol. You'll find little collectibles like this throughout the world. I haven't gone through and checked all mine just yet. There's a lot of them, is why I got to a point where I just didn't really want them. Oh, a toy. Okay. We'll get to that later. So far, not a whole lot of opposition yet. Oh, okay. So you see these bars here? You cannot normally break these. In the early game stuff, you have to get a certain item to make you able to break through. I'm not going to give you the spoiler as to what happens, but I have the ability to do it. So, as I really don't want to ruin the storyline itself, one thing I love about the characters in this is they did a really good job of creating a scenario in which, like an alternate reality where the Nazis won the war. That's the whole premise of Wolfenstein, pretty much. It's just kind of fantasy reality where the Nazis won instead of everybody else in World War II. And the Nazis moved into America, they took over. But they did a really good job on the character development, making the Republican personalities and the liberal or Democratic personalities kind of mesh well and work together. Because, I mean, if this kind of thing happened, then yeah, that's pretty much exactly what would end up happening, because we would just have to. You see the signal at the top here? That's the signal of a commander. That's what I was talking about before. Now, if I am seen and that signal is around, it will be relayed to the commander if I don't kill a person fast enough, and then the commander will constantly call for reinforcements until he is down. So let's see him do that way. Okay. What is that way? Somebody heard me. It's gonna be a bad idea. No, actually, maybe not. Maybe not. This might actually work out. Now, you'll notice when I pick up these health packs, you see how my health is constantly dropping? You have a set maximum health, and if you exceed that, then your health will slowly dwindle back down to the max health. The same does not apply to armor. You kind of hit a maximum capacity of that. And your capacity changes throughout the game. You'll have, I think, 2 different capacities, depending on what stage of the game you're in. Maybe 3, I don't remember. So let's start using different weapons. I don't have the upgrades for this, but it's kind of your standard big kaboom shotgun. Oh no, 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 no. Please don't tell me you saw me. Oh god, he did. Okay, well, hurt. This is a pretty regular heavy trooper. You'll end up running into a lot of these. They also have heavy weapons. Who's... Whoa, hey. Yeah, combat gets a little intense sometimes. Hey, you stop it. That's another heavy trooper. Heavy troopers have like multiple weapons. It's not like a just one weapon and that's it, like it is in a lot of games. In here you'll end up running into a lot of different situations with heavy troopers. Alright, of course red barrels, pretty standard, just like in every other game. Blow up red barrels. Or red containers like that. You'll notice my crosshair changes color when it's something I can damage. Where the hell is this? Oh, okay, so he's gonna be up in here somewhere. There he is. That's the commander. Apparently it was not the commander that I needed, though. Now, these Enigma codes are important. You use them to decipher codes to run into more of the commanders. Ooh, that's a big thing. Okay, well, here we go. This is kind of a good test scenario for me to actually show you guys more of the game. Go down. I really don't want you to charge me. Oh no, please melt, please melt. Thank you. Okay. Perfect timing, just ran out of ammo with that. Alright, so. Anybody else around here? Yes, there is. Wow, I'm not onto that shotgun right now. So let's go to another weapon that I know works. I'm going to double wield these magnums. These are fantastic. Okay. Now I should end up running into another signal sometime soon here. And that's most likely going to be the commander that I actually need to be killing. You can play guns blazing or you can play stealthy. I like that they give you the option to do both. One thing I will say though is it is very difficult to play stealthy. And you will run into situations where it's probably going to take you a few tries to get through certain areas. Like I'm playing on, I'm not playing on a high difficulty, I'm playing on kind of medium. It's called Bring It On. They brought back the classic Doom and Wolfenstein difficulty selections. Kind of like the old Dooms used to have things like Hurt Me Plenty and Bring It On and all that kind of stuff. Oh, that's another heavy. Oh, hi. Oh, that hurt. Ow, that hurt. Okay. Oh no, not another one of you, not another one of you. Oh, come on. Oh. Shotgun is not the best thing. Nope, not yet. Alright, okay. I'm gonna go get that armor now. Like, ow. So yeah, magnums work pretty well. You might actually get to see me die here. Whoa. Nope, none of that. These are my armor-piercing assault rifles, so they're fantastic for killing these heavy guys. And, well, pretty much everything. Okay. Wait a sec. I can eat dog food. Okay, well that's something I didn't know. Oh, that was weak. The thing about your melee weapon, you can actually throw it. You can carry up to 3 of them. I don't know if you noticed the tomahawks at the lower right or not. Was that him? It was, and he doesn't know where I am. So let's introduce a couple of other weapons. This will be a nice little finale here. Whoa, you took that. Okay. You're not gonna take kill me. Okay. Well, I guess I'll show you the laser in a moment. This guy is... Oh no, I'm way back here. Oh no. Alright, well, we're gonna kind of
let me tell you about
blaze
this
through
Uber
this then.
commander.
No. I hate those. No, none of that. And as you can see, the heavily armored dudes have like rocket attacks. This gets really intense in a hurry if you get into combat. Oh my god. So yeah, that's kind of your basic rundown is, if you try to go in guns blazing like that, you run the risk of dying because you really don't have a huge reaction when you get shot. Like, I mean, when you're watching the game, it's more noticeable than when you're playing the game because they didn't make it as... Alright, cool. So, we are back here. We have already initiated combat. We just gotta take out the big guy. Then... Christ, you are still alive. There, that's good. Now... Because cool guys don't look at explosions, right?
Blazkowicz, I have never been more proud to be part of the resistance. Perhaps now the people of Boston can finally rest.
So, whenever you actually kill one of these officers, you have the option to stay in the district or return home if it's one of the mission officers. Usually I'll stay in district, maybe look for some collectibles. Sometimes I'll find another weapon upgrade.
Peace. Grace out.
As we actually found a weapon upgrade this time around that I didn't see last time. So that was fortunate. So yeah, this game, if you're looking for a good first-person shooter, it's not multiplayer, so it's straight up all story stuff. Yeah, I'd recommend it. I don't think I'm close to done with this yet. I've completed the main storyline, but it feels kind of like completing the main storyline in a really huge game where you just have like a lot of extra stuff to do. So I'm still kind of messing around, playing with different weapons, seeing what I can do, testing the abilities and whatnot I have. Like, that's a really fun one, knocking cars around. So yeah, pick it up if you want. Let me know how you like it. See y'all next time. Have a good one.